Hi, thanks for watching. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how I built this wall hung coat rack. I used the plans from the Art of Woodworking book. Plan calls for 2 shelf brackets as shown. To do that, I printed out the pattern and I'm gluing it into 1/4 inch MDF, which I'm then using on my bandsaw to trace the pattern. Now I'm milling down the lumber from 4/4 inch thick red oak to 3/4 inch. I'm using a taper jig to first create one flat edge. Sanding all the parts before cutting is much easier than sanding after building the project. We first build the pattern similar to the one shown on the top left of the screen using MDF. What I'm doing is I'm tracing that into the 2 pieces of wood, and then I'm using a jigsaw to roughly cut them to the same shape. I'm now going to overlay the MDF pattern over the piece of wood we just cut and attach them by using double-sided tape. And then I'm going to use a flush trim bit on the router to trace the shape exactly so that it's going to be a like-to-like to the pattern that we created. And I'm going to do this for 2 shelf supports. We are now going to cut a double-sided taper like that shown on the top left. I'm first cutting a small notch in a piece of wood by raising the table saw blade about 1/8 of an inch, and then I'm using that as a reference and then aligning my taper start and end with that line and then going to attach it with double-sided tape. And after doing this, I'm going to flip this board over and run it through the table saw, which will result in creating the taper that we need. I saw this technique in a wood video. I will now repeat the same thing for the other taper. I'm going to now start assembling all the parts, but before I do that, wherever there is a connection, I'm putting painter's tape around that, because when I put the glue and then the screws, I want to make sure that the glue doesn't ooze out into the wood. As you're seeing here, what I'm doing is creating holes where the screws have to connect 2 different pieces, and then I'm counterboring with the Forstner bit so that the screw can be concealed. The way I'm going to be doing this is that the first hole that's being drilled is just a regular hole using a drill bit, and then I'm enlarging it. It's not shown on camera here, but I'm enlarging it with a piece of Forstner bit, and then I'm using glue to attach the surfaces together and then putting the screw in. Next, I'm going to be cutting some dowels and using some glue in the screw holes and inserting the dowels there and letting them sit overnight. Next, I'm going to flush trim the dowels and then use chisels to basically bring them almost as close as possible to the surfaces, and then I'm going to sand them down so that they are flush with the surface. And this is the final result after applying the finish, mounting the hangers and attaching to the wall. Thank you so much for watching.